Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jefferies, the present day wise woman, a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This podcast is for those of you who are wanting to really rock your life and health and live from a place of prevention. Let's get into today's episode. My back hurts. My neck hurts. I got aches and pains. Well, I don't, but I want to talk about aches and pains. It's crazy, but so many people have aches and pains so often. And I wanted to talk about just a couple of core basics to think about if you're getting aches and pains. So whether it's something like, and nowadays, like things like fibromyalgia are just through the roof, or whether it's like, tendons or joints or soft tissue injuries, or whether it's neck pain, if I lay the wrong way or something, or whether it's arthritis. I actually have a little bit of arthritis in the finger from too many years of massaging, whether it's nerve pain, whatever that kind of physical pain is, I want to talk into that. And it's really interesting. The most common cause of pain is muscle pain, as in where tension and stress, and I've talked about those things, I'm not talking about that today, play a part, or overuse or little injuries. Like one of my surfing mates twisted an ankle this morning in the surf. I woke up with a bit of a stiff neck because I've been doing some surfing, and surfing, the whole looking up thing at different times, it's just that I know I used those muscles. So I wanted to talk into that today with that kind of pain. Like I knew it was like, it's just in my neck. And before I went for a surf this morning, I rubbed some oils on. I'm going to talk about oils in a moment, what I put on. But I was like, it needs to be warm. It needs to be warm. And so I needed to, use some oil so I could warm up that area and before I'd go surfing today. So with that kind of pain, it's not an inflammation kind of pain. And this is the difference. If it's just a muscle overuse or that kind of thing versus something that's inflammatory, whether it's, your fibromyalgias and all your arthritises and all those kind of things. So with my neck, I knew, it was just overuse yesterday, no inflammation or anything like that involved. But if you've got an inflammation kind of ache, and imagine an inflammation kind of ache is a hot ache, and they'll vary in types and severity and in places in your body. But the pain can be like, it's constant, it's steady, it's a thick, throbbing, pulsating, or stabbing or pinching kind of pain versus just like, I did too much in the surf yesterday kind of pain. That injury of whatever it is, the body's trying to help you deal with it. And it builds up fluid, and that fluid leads to swelling. The swelling in those soft tissues creates a pressure against sensitive nerve endings. And so inflammation pain, whether it's in joints or in anywhere in the body, it's a nasty kind of pain. And you want to ask yourself, with any kind of pain, is it relieved by heat or is it relieved by cold? So once you know what it's relieved by, if it's heat or cold, first off, if you need to see a doctor, go and see a bloody doctor. I'm not saying do natural stuff and not go and see a doctor. That's not what it's about. But I want to give you a couple of alternatives to think about. So rest, you want to do the normal first aid. If you've sprained an ankle, the whole rest, ice, elevation, compression, all those things, you want to be doing that. And the ice, that cool can be excellent for reducing pain and to stop, bleeding and bruising in the first instance of an injury. I've got whacked by my surfboard. I got whacked here on the head just yesterday. I deal with those things as they happen. That's going to happen. But at the same time, so even like if I found myself with some aches and pains because I've been, hitting the surf a bit lately, I'm a big fan of Epsom salt baths. I just am. I'm a big fan of Epsom salts baths. So Epsom salts is magnesium salts. Magnesium is needed for muscles to relax. And I'm a big fan of bathing in general anyway, but I'm a really big fan of Epsom salts. I buy it, and something for you to think about. If you've been buying magnesium salts, Epsom salts in the chemist shop, or for my friends in North America, the drugstore, whatever. The secret where I go and buy Epsom salts from is I go and buy a 25-kilo bag, and you get it for about, like, so cheap, it's ridiculous. You'll get it for like $30-40 at the most. from a produce supplier. So produce I'm talking about is where you go and get that's what we call them in Australia, for my North American friends who are listening, or people from anywhere in the world. But where you get, if you're going to go and buy horse feed, so whatever that kind of shop is in your language, go there and you buy, because they feed horses magnesium because they know how good it is for them. So magnesium in that form, for to soak in the bath, I'll buy in 25 kilo bags, and a bag will last me a whole year. It's so good. And then I can put like a half a kilo into a whole bath if I've really got some aches and pains. Nice warm water, soak all the way up to my neck, and it's just like, wah! And then I add some essential oils as well, and I'll talk about that just in a moment. But that's the first thing is, hot bath. Well, do your first aid first, rest, ice compression, all those things. But then Epsom salt bath. Think about soaking it out. Let the warmth and the magnesium just relax all your muscles and all your body parts so that everything can start to let go that tension that can be causing the pain. We want to also do enough movement to help whatever it is versus overdo it. So what we know is if something's sore and you're just resting up 100%, sometimes that can, depending on what it is, that can make it, seize up even more. It's the whole saying that if we don't use it, we lose it. So you want to be getting enough movement and exercise to help your body recover from whatever the aches and pains are, but at the same time, not go aggravating it. And your body. Seek help from a health practitioner. A lot of people are using collagen nowadays. So collagen bone broth is useful, very useful, helping to kind of bring the lubrication and the flexibility back to joints particularly. So if you've got any of those kind of joint aches and pains, maybe you want to use collagen bone broth as part of your supplementation. I'll put a link to the one I use in the show notes. You can go and check that out. Go and see whether, whatever your healthcare provider is. I'm a big fan of acupuncture, especially if I've got aches or anything like that. I am a really big fan of acupuncture in general, whether it's massage, whether it's chiropractic, whether it's your osteo, whatever your kind of health provider is, make sure you check in with them to make sure you get all the support that you need. Because inflammation plays such a big part with so many aches and pains, I wanted to talk a little bit about nutrition for some foods to avoid that feed inflammation in your body, and then also obviously some foods to increase in your body because they work more as anti-inflammatory. So the first one is, these are the foods that you really want to avoid. And I've been talking about most of these through this Healthy Life Hacks series. So the main inflammatory foods you want to skip are, avoid or eliminate, preferably eliminate, but otherwise well and truly avoid all the shitty sugars, the high fructose corn syrup, scary shit. And in fact, the easy way to do it is just to go back and listen to episode 32, where I rattle off all the different kind of sugars, everywhere from maple syrup to the high fructose corn syrups to the agave syrups and that have become trendy. What's good, what's not. Go back and listen to everything about sugars. Now, we also want to make sure we're keeping away from trans fats. So trans fats are the fats that have been overheated past their smoking point. And in the past episodes, I've talked about the trans fats as well. I'll put the link to all these in the show notes. So it's quick and easy. After you've listened to this one, go to the show notes at www.healthylifehacks.com.au, and you'll be able to just click on these past episodes that you need to listen to. But trans fats, they're the ones that have been heated past their smoking point, and they're just rancid, and they are rank in your body, like really rank. We also want to stay away from the refined and processed carbs. So the white bread, white rice, white pasta. Check out episode 4 when I talked about no bum glue. That's it. Alcohol. Alcohol is really inflammatory, guys. It just is. If you've got aches and pains, having a beer or having a drink is not going to help it. What's going to help it is getting up the water, flushing through your tissues so that everything gets to work properly. And then refined and processed meats. Really, the bottom line on a diet that is really anti-inflammatory is one that is close to nature. The less refined and processed, the better. So things, all your good healthy fruit and vegetables, your dark green veggies and your spinach and kale and collards, all those things, the deep dark greens, your good oils, your good olive oil, your good nuts and seeds, almonds, pecans, walnuts, all those kind of things, not salted. Your fatty fish, your good fish that is rich in omega-3 essential fatty acids. So salmon, mackerel, tuna, sardines, they're really cool. And all of your berries, your strawberries and blueberries and cherries, those kind of fruits are really rich anti-inflammatory nutrients. So get into them as well. But the bottom line is, if you've got aches and pains, really eat close to nature and get your water up so that toxins being produced by whatever it is that ache and pain was created from in the first place are able to mobilize and get you going again. Now, a couple of simple natural treatments that I like to use. I have talked about the benefits of ginger and why I love ginger shots in episode 49. Go and check that out. Ginger is the most amazing anti-inflammatory food you're going to come across. And I love parsley. I grow parsley in my garden. I grow my own ginger and I harvest it and I have ginger for a whole year. But making like a parsley ginger green, epically amazing juice is going to be excellent for helping to mobilize crappy toxins that are sitting in tissues. But also lemon and turmeric. You can make a great tonic with warm water. Warm is mobilizing. So warm lemon juice and turmeric, mix the two of those together and just drink it like a tea or just take it as a shot, either way. But the parsley and ginger green kind of juice, that's another awesome tonic. So go to the show notes and check these out, guys. Good old-fashioned bone broth. Bone broth is excellent, particularly if it's in joints. So if your aches and pains are hanging around joints, check out bone broth. Now, I am an aromatherapist, so I'm a big fan of aromatherapy. So even with my neck this morning, before I went for a surf, I thought, a little bit stiff from the workout I gave it yesterday, surfing. Because when you're surfing, you're in this strange position where your chest and your neck are right up. And so there's a physical taxing on it. And so if I have a big session, I'll know about it there. But for me, I knew it was relieved by warm. So I have a simple oil made up that I make up, which contains black pepper, all the spices, cardamom, clove, ginger, juniper berry, marjoram, rosemary. So the warming oils, but then the oils also for helping to mobilize. So things like juniper berry helps to mobilize, marjoram to relax the muscles, rosemary for pain relief. It's a simple blend that works really well. I'll put my basic recipe into the show notes. You can check it out. If you're into oils, go and make it yourself. I don't sell it. I just make it for myself. But if you're into oils, it's simple and easy to make up. I'll put the recipe in the show notes. But you want to be using those warm, spicy oils if the pain's relieved by warm. Interesting. Peppermint essential oil is a wonderful pain reliever. And it absolutely cools when you first put it on, but then it warms. Okay, so if your pain is relieved by heat, peppermint is excellent. It just is. Where if your pain is relieved by cool, spearmint's a better choice. Eucalyptus, vetiver, sandalwood, they're more cooling essential oils. So if you are into aromatherapy, it's so easy to knock up a blend. Like I say, I'll put my blend that I use, just my general kind of aches and pains kind of blend. I'll just throw the recipe in. There's so many combinations of essential oils you can use. This is one that I've found to be very effective for my body over time. And obviously, if it's also relieved by heat, if you haven't got a bath in your house or something, but whether you're the kind of person who uses those heat week kind of pillows or something, a heat pack, hot and cold packs, very effective, but also use the oils as well. And remember to always dilute those essential oils down before you put them onto your body. Leaving you with 4 healthy life hacks here today. The first one is, if your aches and pains are really be real. Go and see your health practitioner if you're not sure what's causing it. Okay. I'm not saying use aromatherapy and don't check in with your doctor. Check in with your health professional. Healthy life hack number 2 is to identify, is that ache relieved by heat or cold? Because then that leads you to healthy life hack number 3. Choose your treatment. Choose your treatment right there and then. Are you going to have a bath? Are you going to make up your own essential oil blend to rub on? What are you going to do? Healthy life hack number 4 is to look at your nutrition. Is your nutrition feeding the inflammation that's in your aches? If it is, come back close to nature so that your body can have less inflammation, which is feeding. And really secretly, guys, most aches have some form of, unless it's just like an overuse, like my surfing yesterday. But if it's not just something like an overuse, kind of strained muscle, and there's some kind of inflammation present. So the closer we live to nature with our nutrition, the cleaner and better our body works and recovers. It just does. Now, I know I'm not going to stop surfing. I'm just not. I am totally addicted to it. I really am. I can't tell you how good it feels. So I'm aware of eating, 90% of my lifestyle, 90% of my diet in a way that it's anti-inflammatory kind of food. So I'm reducing the chance of building that inflammation up in the first place so that if I do hurt something, absolutely my body can recover from it faster. So if you want to check out the show notes, head over to www.healthylifehacks.com.au and I'll throw in that oil recipe for my pain relief kind of oil and also a couple of the links to bits and pieces. And look forward to seeing you on the next episode because I'm going to be talking about how proximity, yes, that's the word, proximity actually rules our life. See you then. I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed my podcast, please let me know by leaving a review on Apple Podcast. Every month, I draw one lucky person who leaves a review on Apple Podcast to have a free 1-hour consultation with me. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in from so that you always catch the next episode. And if you would like to receive a free copy of my Feed Your Body ebook, simply click the link in the comments below. Join my newsletter and we will get that free ebook sent to you. I welcome your emails and you can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, remember, when it comes to life, live it, love it, and get on with it.